I know that you've been seeing these posts, right? All these posts on your Instagram feed, just this nostalgia that is like, I want 2016 back. Well, I wanted to know what is going on there, because it's not just the fact that it's been 10 years since 2016. There's something very particular about 2016 as a sort of site to return to. So Madison, Malone, Kircher is here, and Vinson, Cunningham is here, and we talk a lot about how the internet and the algorithm specifically changed in 2016. And you know what? It ain't good. Yeah, what we had then was much more lovely. I got a lot out of this conversation. I hope that you do too. Let's get into it. Hello, both of you. How's it going, friends?
Good morning. How you doing?
It's nice to have you here. This is a delight. This is absolutely a delight. Madison, I'm going to start with you, pal. I think for someone who's like not on Instagram, maybe we need to paint a picture of what the feeds currently look like. What does your feed look like?
Totally. It was like opening up Instagram and having gone back in time. You know, instead of the usual barrage of, let's be real, mostly ads and posts from influencers I don't really want to see content from, suddenly I was seeing pictures from friends again. And not just pictures, we're talking grainy, hyper-filtered photos of sunsets, acai bowls, skinny jeans are back. We're wearing shirts that involve the choker necklace built in. It was like we'd gone back to 2016. We're talking Snapchat filters, puppy dog noses, flower crowns. We were about to Pokemon Go to the polls. You know, that's what Instagram was looking like this week.
First of all, the phrase Pokemon Go to the polls does a real violent form of nostalgia sometimes. Does really takes you back. I was just scrolling through these, Madison, going, there will be no explanation. There will only be reputation. There's truly
Clown.
there's just a rooted in the year and in the moment. Okay, Vincent, when you open up your feed, what are you noticing?
Well, I'm just noticing how skinny my friends used to be. Is the really big innovation for me was like, were we ever so young? It was just like pictures of my doe-eyed friends. I happen to be in my early 40s, so everybody's suddenly in their early 30s with visible cheekbones, with a real sense of hope, a real sense of the future. It was the end of something and the beginning of something else, which I think is part of the reason for so much nostalgia.
I believe that's in Closing Time by Semisonic, right? Like every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Like
other beginning's end.
There's something about 2016 that particular year returning that you'd go, oh, probably millennials started this, but not so, Madison. These posts started from Gen Z people. Gen Z looking back, going, hey, 2016, that seems kind of interesting, and let's look into that. Why are they so nostalgic for 2016? How did we get here?
We got here first. We must go back in time.
Let's do it.
To the invention of the concept of millennial cringe, which is how, you know, I am a millennial. I'll take the heat. We've been roasted for within an inch of our lives for years about how.
Side note, every millennial says it a little apologetically. Like, I'm a millennial. I'm sorry about it. I don't feel good about when I was born, but it's fine. Don't worry about it. But start, continue. Yes.
No. So, you know, millennial cringe is that we, the generation of millennials, are like far too earnest. Our comedy is deeply cringy. It doesn't hold up. Even the clothing we wear is accused of being cringy. But somehow that over the last year morphed into millennial optimism, that this was the generation that got to experience the before times. And that leads to 2016, which, you know, we just hit a decade since 2016 when the clock ticked 2026. And so now we've got this younger generation looking back at 2016 and saying, hey, you know, seems like a great year, which...
2016 has marked a certain transition. Some folks remember 2016 for, I don't know, for example, Lin-Manuel Miranda on SNL during the lead up to the 2016 election, walking past a photo. I will never forget this. Walking past a photo of Donald Trump on the SNL wall and singing the song from Alexander Hamilton, "Is Never Going to Be President Now." And well, sure enough, a couple of weeks later, that's exactly what ended up happening. But I also got to say, if we just want to talk about 2016, if you guys don't mind, let's just real quick, hop into a time machine and let's listen to some of the music that was everywhere that year.
Work, 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 work. You send me everywhere. One more time before I go. Higher powers taking hold on me. Baby. So baby, pull me closer in the backseat.
Not the mattress.
not Madison Malone Kircher just backing away from the computer like, I need a minute. That's the Chainsmokers. You put me in a place. Okay, so Rihanna with Work, and then Drake, One Dance, and then, of course, Closer by the Chainsmokers, a.k.a. the song with the mattress that you just mentioned. I think, like, some of the cultural references to 2016, Vincent, they kind of feel like kind of uncomplicated in a certain way, you know? And we kind of go like, oh, it's kind of nice. It's kind of like dip ourselves in that moment. How do you understand nostalgia for that time? This idea of like uncomplicated stuff.
I've never looked up the lyrics to the Chainsmokers song, but I'm pretty sure one of the lyrics is, we are never getting older. Like, it's about like this sort of
it's literally about
agelessness. And speaking of Drake, he also had a song that was called Summer 16, and it was about celebrating himself. And it took on a thing, like people were really into that summer. I remember it was the end of the Obama era. There was some unrest, you know, Trayvon Martin had happened, Ferguson had happened. So there was ideological ferment happening, but still a sense of maybe the last vestiges of this sort of liberal hope that, you know, we're still incrementally getting better and better and better. And then also, I mean, just to quickly jump in on your thing about Gen Z, this is pre-pandemic. My daughter, a Gen Zer, is 20 years old, and the pandemic happened when she was in high school. So for them, I think their youths were very split in half. So it might mean something different to them. But there was a primary color to that time that has now gotten hopelessly muddled.
First of all, there are some folks listening to this going, oh, is that when the color of the world drained? Is that when it all kind of went away? The idea that like liberal hope died that summer is interesting to me. I want to come back to that in just a moment. Madison, there's another thing that you got at with the piece that you wrote for the New York Times. So you sort of talk about like this, there's something but deeper about the state of the internet that's kind of shifted. You want to elaborate on what has shifted there?
Yeah, before 2016, Instagram operated chronologically, which meant you saw every photo in the order your friends posted it. And that year, they changed to an algorithm. So now an unseen robot is deciding what you see. And so instead of seeing crappy photos from your friend's trip to Coachella, now you're seeing influencers at Coachella you probably don't want to see. And at first, people really complained about this change. And then it turns out we all liked it because our little rat brains like the dopamine hits that this algorithm is giving us. At first, really, there was a lot of like outrage and outcry. And a couple years later, there was a study that said, no, you fools, like we've got the data. You actually really like it when we just spoon feed you this garbage. And that became the norm. That's how you get to TikTok. And that's how we stopped seeing our friends' bad photos on Instagram.
Sorry about your rat brain. My rat brain is different. I can't relate. Okay, but
you're not like other rats.
I'm not like other rats. I'm often saying this. Okay, Vincent, let me ask you the same question. What do you make of this idea that 2016 was maybe the year before the algorithm took over?
That it makes so much sense to me, and it's something that I wouldn't even thought about. It's true that this phenomenon is happening on social media. It sort of reiterates a simpler time in our lives where social media itself was still this place where things could happen. You could be, the dream of Twitter was still alive, for instance. I was very much on Twitter in 2016, where it's like, like I'm a regular person, but I could like get into a weird fight with, I don't know, Ice-T on Twitter. And that there was like, that the agora, the public space had opened up such that I think we all there was this heightened individuality that the heightened access, heightened openness that the early social media era offered that has now been totally foreclosed.
All those people don't even let me comment on their Instagrams anymore. I can't even pick a fight with a celebrity if I want to.
They close comments.
They know too much. They know too much.
They do. They've seen the way that you want to comment, Madison, and they said enough of her specifically. Actually, yeah. I will say, in the true words of Bo Burnham, there's always the backlash to the thing that just begun. And so, like as this trend sort of started to take over, you're seeing older people jumping on board, but also you're seeing a little bit of generational backlash.
This is young people experiencing the first wave of nostalgia. They're like, oh, it's 10 years ago. Why was life so good in 2016? I'm not going to post a picture from 2016. It was just literally like the other day. I'm wearing a bra that I purchased from Marks & Spencer's in 2016. There are shirts at the bottom of the ironing basket I haven't touched since 2016.
That's Helen McPherson. She's not having it. She's like, look, I'm not interested in this nostalgia. There is no avoiding, I guess, like the older you get. But like 2016 wasn't that long ago in your life. It feels pretty recent. What do you think about this? Like, does this trend sort of make do these trends kind of make us feel old, Vinson?
I think they are designed to. I think we are all generally conditioned to think of our lives in decades and in chapters. And I do think, and this maybe goes again to the nature of social media, that we've experienced such a great acceleration of events. You can think of, the first time Trump is elected until now as one sort of epochal unit, right? It's like one great big vehicle. And so to say that was 10 years ago does sort of change your idea of how long you've been living under a certain kind of political duress. I can think of political positions that I held or thought would sort of stay around vaguely the same at that time that don't ramify anymore. So seeing how much you've changed alongside the changes that have happened in the nation, in the world, I think is a kind of potent thing.
Yeah, I think like the big thing that I'm also taking away from this is like this big pivot of, I didn't realize how many years I lost with the pandemic until someone said, by the way, 2016 was 10 years ago. I was like, no, it's been 3 years since 2016. We all know it has not been that long. Like so that sort of shifting in relationship to time and going like, these are the ways that you've changed as a person. This is the new information you've taken in. I understand the overwhelm that can sort of arise under that context. Madison, we've covered a bunch of the reasons why 2016 maybe feels like the returning point for a lot of people. But like, you and I can't change the state of the world right now. That's not a thing that is in our power. Is there anything we can do? You're right. My rat brain is different, and then you and your power to control the world, that's also different. But is there anything we can do, you think, to sort of return to this idea of like, maybe return to our relationship that we had with social media in 2016?
It's interesting. I was talking about this with friends the other night in light of the 2016 trend, and these friends happen to be leaving on a long trip. They've given up their apartment. They're going to travel for 4 months. And as we left, I just held their hands. I was like, I want you to text me photos, bad photos, regularly. I just want to see the realities of your life. It doesn't have to be glossy. It doesn't have to be cute. I want to see your bagel after 2 bites. Send me a picture of your bagel after 2 bites. And I think, we can't control the platforms, right? That's somebody else's job. It's not my job. I don't want that job. But what we can do is interact with each other in a way that replicates this experience again, because I think we're all just craving a little more people we actually know online. That was the refreshing part. Even the celebrity photos, it felt like, I know you. Like Karlie Kloss from 2016, we were friends. Hi, nice to see you. I don't know her.
Madison, you and Karlie Kloss 2016, you were absolutely friends. Let us be directly clear about this, okay?
Before 10:30 in the morning.
Vinson, last word to you. Is there anything we can do to sort of return back to that kind of pure relationship, if you will, with social media?
I think definitely not.
Okay, all right. I'll just leave. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
I think the function of nostalgia is to say, here's something irrevocable. I cannot change it. And then it sensitizes you to the current moment. What about now do I take as baseline, as part of my sense of reality? And how might that change in the next 10 years? So I think it's the function of nostalgia in this way is not to sort of retrieve, but to say what exists now that is worth retrieving and what exists now that I can alter in my own small way.
Because we are really getting older.
As per the eternal words of the Chainsmokers, if you will. That's what you're trying to say here. I appreciate this as a sort of a sharpening experience to go like, what are the things I'm taking for granted about right now? That when 2036 comes, I go like, remember 2026? The good old days. Madison is done. Madison is out from this conversation. I appreciate both of you being here. This has been wonderful. Thanks again for your time, you guys.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Good to talk to you. Thank you. Vinson Cunningham writes for The New Yorker. He also co-hosts a weekly podcast, Critics at Large. He now has his very own Substack, Quiet Storm. Madison Malone Kircher is an internet culture reporter for The New York Times. They are both in New York City. My name is Elamin Abdelmahmoud. This show is called Commotion. Hey, have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.